You already know who it is. It's Osiris Lourde. I'm here, man. We here a little late today. It was a weird day with technology. You know, I'm always complaining about the technology and stuff. My Wi-Fi's acting crazy, so now I'm having to record it right now with the Logic. No Discord, how I usually do. Anyway, like I said, it's a little later today. I hit my homies up at Cracking the 80s. Shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? I asked them, yo, what y'all think I should talk about? And they said, well, we all agreed on that we want to talk about me. We're going to talk about building respect. I know, the anticipation, right? You're like, oh, what's he going to talk about? But anyway, I feel like this is going to be a two-parter. I don't want to make this one very long because I feel like there are ways for people to go about gaining respect from others and, you know, showing respect, blah, blah, blah. There's just basically a lot because there's people who are outgoing and don't mind, you know, building their confidence, talking in conversations, or people who just normally talk and may not necessarily be as confident, you know. And then you have people who don't necessarily speak at all or wouldn't necessarily want to interrupt the conversation, and they also need to know how to be more confident. So anyway, that being said, this might be a two-pointer. It's actually going to be a three-pointer swisher, you know what I'm saying? Swish. But anyway, it might be a two-parter. So I'm just gonna go down, you know, a couple things or reasons why I feel like somebody would want some respect, you know? Like, why would you want to gain more respect or whatever? Anyhow, gaining more respect can help you in life, kind of like what we talked about in the other video. You can get better jobs, you can just basically have better conversations, relationships, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, you just want to be respected, and that will help you with your confidence. Boom. Cool. So anyway, I personally think that these are some tips and some things that you can improve on, or at least things that help me gain more respect from people. I'll actually list off a couple of superficial things that I feel like will help you if, you know, you just kind of want to. It's not even really superficial. I mean, not to me anyway. It's just like look good, or at least like look well kept. You know, you can be grungy, but you don't have to look dirty. You know, you can definitely be grungy and not look dirty, smell bad. Smelling bad is definitely one way to make sure people don't respect you. If you constantly smell bad, oh my gosh. If you smell like underarms, genitals, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of that stuff, you're asking to be disrespected, honestly. You're gonna have people looking at you all crazy. So those are kind of the things, like, dress better. That's why I kind of like always wear a collared shirt in these videos, or at least like Ralph Lauren, because even though I have all these other crazy things, I guess it's kind of like a universal language, you know, not necessarily just the, you know, Ralph Lauren. I'm just saying in general, if you have a universal language that everybody can speak or understand, that you can have common grounds with people on, then that's a good start. I'm not going to say they're going to respect you, because they can still not respect you, but they at least be like, okay, well, this person is looks nice, or at least doesn't look bad or smell bad. So those are kind of superficial things. So besides that, I think number one is having respect for yourself. Because if you don't have respect for yourself, no one's going to have respect for you. Right? Think about it. If people come around you all the time and they're kind of like, they look not necessarily weak, but, you know, they're kind of like timid and all of these things, they may not necessarily seem as confident or like they have a lot of respect for themselves. So if my video's lagging, I apologize. Hopefully the audio is working. I don't want to cut the video off and do it again and again. If you're listening to the audio, don't even mind what I'm saying right now. Okay, so my computer just overloaded. So I guess, oh man, I'm not even going to edit that out. I want you to see, like, literally, sometimes things are just stressful and they don't go how you want to go. So anyway, I'm going to continue with the self-respect because I have enough respect for myself to continue going. and I feel like that shows I have confidence in myself and I believe in myself. So, like I said, having self-respect and at least in some sort of confidence in yourself will definitely help you in the long run. And next thing I think is setting boundaries. I think setting boundaries is so underrated because when you don't set boundaries and stuff like that, I feel like besides the fact that people walk all over you, people always want to ask you for like favors. People always want to use you for things. People like always want you to drive them places. I'm trying to give examples now. People want you to drive them places all the time, and since you don't say no or you don't set boundaries for yourself, a lot of people are just kind of like, okay, well, Osiris will drive me anytime I ask. And then what happens if you say no? They get upset. So that's because you didn't set boundaries earlier in your relationship or your friendship. That's the word I was really looking for. Your friendship, relationship, or whatever it is. An example is, okay, you may think because somebody is your friend that they respect you, but they don't. That's not necessarily true. They may tolerate you or put up with you or potentially think that they respect you, but okay, cool. So here's an example. Someone will come to your house, right? Cool, this is your best homie or one of your homies. You enjoy their company. You don't necessarily want to be like, nah, don't pull up. So they pull up. You don't necessarily mind them coming through. But when they come through, they're all like, all in your fridge. They're eating all your food. They didn't even like bring something, to contribute. Like, yo, bro, like I didn't really have food in the crib, but I brought like a 1 liter, like a liter of soda or something, like something, whatever, just showing like a kind gesture, like, yo, bro, even if that was their intention, which is still messed up, but that's for another day. They should have definitely at least had enough courtesy, or honestly, they should have just told you to begin with, especially somebody like me, like, I don't really care if you're like mad hungry and stuff, like, have a ball, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you need to rest, you can rest, but don't come to my crib and put your feet on the table. You know what I'm saying? Don't come to my crib and put your feet on the couch. Don't come to my crib and eat all my food. You know what I'm saying? Don't do things like that. You know what I'm saying? That, even though I'm your homie, that shows me that you don't respect me. So that is a good example of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody comes to your crib, and I'll give one for the homies. You know what I'm saying? I'll give an example for the homies. Somebody comes to your crib, they dig right in your ashtray and they take all your clips. You know what I'm saying? They start smoking your clips. You know what I'm saying? They start rolling your clips, breaking your down. You know what I'm saying? And you just like, bro, like, they was there for a reason in my house, in my ashtray, bro. Like, you didn't even, I have more than enough supply to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have left my joint alone. Like, literally left my joint alone. You know what I'm saying? So that's another example, because that happens all the time. At least that has happened to me twice, and and this is another thing about, oh my gosh, I wanted to keep this like a list, but all these things are just like, yeah. So I was just about to say, like, telling people, not necessarily cursing them out, because a lot of people think that telling somebody about themselves is cursing somebody out or pointing something out about the person or something like that and telling them about it is rude or disrespectful. It was not. I'm setting a boundary. You did this. I didn't like that. I'm telling you, I didn't like that. So next time you come here, you don't do it again. Because if you come here and you do it again, we're going to have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, that type of thing. So basically, speaking up for yourself is definitely another way to show that you have respect for yourself, and that even though it may not necessarily your homie or whoever you just told, like, yo, like, don't do that, or when you do this, it makes me feel like this, setting boundaries or just basically telling somebody about something like that, they might not like it, but now they know, and they're going to respect at least that. And depending on the type of person, they'll respect you more. And if they feel like, yo, I don't mess with Osiris no more because he told me about myself, or he told me not to do this and I'm used to doing this, then that's not your homie and you need to get rid of them, because they're just going to cause problems. And depending on what type of stuff they into, they're going to come to your crib and they're going to keep putting their feet on your couch. They're going to keep eating on your food until you smack the shit out of them. I don't know why. I don't know. I just be thinking about yo, sometimes people be bugging, bro. Sometimes people be bugging. Anyway, I'm going to go back to this list because I'm getting a little personal right now. You know what I'm saying? Not personal, but I'm getting too, crazy and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, setting boundaries. Just saying people coming to the crib. That was my example. The ashtray thing was my example. You don't always have to be nice. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what I was saying just now about, people always want you to do favors. People want you to do this, that, and the third. You can tell people no. And when you tell people no, they're going to understand that you know how to say no, and depending on what they ask you, they know how well you know how to say no. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to, if somebody's like, yo, let me borrow your car, you be like, no, I'm not letting you borrow my car. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you to be like, nah. And then if you usually let this person borrow your car, maybe you want to give them an explanation. Be like, hey, this is why I don't want you to borrow my car. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you borrow my car all the time. I feel like I loan you bread all the time. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I've been there. Years ago when I used to always ask people for money. I never had bread. I'm always asking people for money. I mean, times ain't really changed. I still ain't got bread, but I don't ask people for money. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what I'm saying is you can tell somebody no, because that's draining on your mental health. And it's also draining on your friendship with that person. You know what I'm saying? Once you initiate that no, they're going to understand I'm not going to ask Osiris again for bread. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that happened to me. I had a couple homies that when I was a leech, I would ask them for bread. I'd be like, yo, spot me. I mean, I would give them back the bread. But the point is, it's like, bro, I can't keep giving you $50, $100. You know what I'm saying? If it's your homie, it's a different story. You know what I'm saying? If you can muscle up just always giving your homie bread and whatever, at least if they return the favor, you know what I'm saying? If they reciprocate, if you gonna ask somebody for $100, bro, you need to be prepared to give that person $100 when they ask for it, bro. I'm just saying, that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. That's another respect thing. You know what I'm saying? Just treat others how you want to treat them. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like it's a person that you want to give them money and you feel like, yo, they're not going to pay me back, then you need to just give them money or just tell them no. You know what I'm saying? I had a homie that did that with me as well. He was like, look, I don't mind. You asked me for $20. Here's $20. You know what I'm saying? Don't think about paying me back. Don't worry about it. It's way more stressful for me to think about you paying me back whenever you're going to pay me back. That made a lot of sense. I learned a lot from him. Angel, actually, if you're watching this, shout out to you. So, I learned that. Okay, so far, I'm just going to go down the list of what we kind of went through. Self-respect, setting boundaries. You don't always have to be nice. You don't always got to do favors and all of that stuff. Oh, what I want to say is you don't need to feel guilty about that. You know, you don't need to feel guilty about saying no, especially if you hardly say no. You know, I actually made a habit of telling people no. That's how I learned how to be like no. You know, and honestly, a lot of people started telling me no. So you don't need to feel guilty about that. Speaking up during conversations, this is kind of like what I was talking about. There's several different types of people, so it's kind of hard to tell somebody to speak up during a conversation if they don't normally speak up in life, in a sense. Excuse me. And I mean that to say, hey, they might be the quiet person in the group. You know, Osiris is quiet. How do you tell somebody who's super quiet to speak up? You know, you don't want them to be thinking that they have to be like, bah, 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 bah. You know, they're not going to do that. They're always just going to be quiet. But I did notice, and even though I do talk a lot, at least for the podcast, in person, I'm fairly quiet. Especially if I just met you, I'm more of an observer. I'm very observant. I like to read the room, read the temperature of people and all these things. You know, that's how I feel like you have to engage. I engage in a lot of active listening, and I try to understand somebody and try to find common grounds with a person before I just start blabbing and blabbing and blabbing, depending on the type of situation or where I met them at, that type of thing. So that is why there might be a part 2. So while speaking up, I find that hand gestures keep people engaged. I heard there's a thing called 1 second rule. And if you literally gesture, so yeah, like literally what I just did, like something right before you talk, everyone will pay attention. And that sounds kind of weird and manipulative, but it's literally just true. Like, it's not really like, I'm not telling you to flail your hands in the air. Like, like if you are ready to interject in a conversation or talk to somebody, if you make hand gestures, you will keep them engaged, and you'll also gain the attention of people in the room. So I find that to help. And also, that's why I like to rock the handheld, because I actually have like a whole stand mic. If you've seen the season 0, episode 00, you saw I actually had a whole different setup. It was more like bougie looking, and I mean, it wasn't bougie. It was just me sitting on the couch with lights and stuff like that. But I just kind of felt like it was too much. It was nice for what it was for season 0, episode 00. So I find that hand gestures work. I like to say people's names randomly, kind of. I mean, a lot of people do that, but I like to say people's name all the time during conversations. Excuse me. Just to keep their attention, and just so that they know, like, I'm actually paying attention to them. And I also like to, like I said, I like to engage in active listening. So I can't necessarily give you the definition of active listening right now, but if you want to look it up and see exactly what that is, but I definitely engage in active listening. When people are talking to me, I look at them, I try to understand what they're saying. Sometimes I repeat what they say, just so that they know I'm listening. Even if they're just talking, it'll be like, blah, 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 blah. I went to the store and then I fell. I'll be like, dang, so you fell when you went to the store? Like, blah, blah, blah. Not knowing where it feels like I'm repeating them, everything they're saying. But it's just so that they know, like, okay, Osiris is actually paying attention because he's repeating certain details to me. Even if I'm in La La Land, I'm still paying attention, and they know that. So, active listening, hand gestures, like I said, and then also saying people's names. I think that depending on because I expect a lot of different type of people to be watching this video. So I don't want to just be like saying, I don't want to just say, stand up straight, fix your posture, because I don't know, somebody in a wheelchair could be watching this. I don't want to offend anybody. So I'm going to basically say that as much as you can, straighten and align yourself with the person that you're speaking to. I'm not saying be weird and mimic them, but as much as you can, like, look up, whatever you need to do, acknowledge the person. But I'm weird. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily weird, but I like to engage in things that I don't like to engage in, if that makes sense. That sounds super weird, and I mean it like this. Instead of going around, like, let's say I have to do a homework, and I know I really don't want to do that homework, I'll do that one first. I'm talking about that type of thing, just so I can get it out the way, So I basically am saying that to say this. I like to stare in people's eyes, depending on who they are. Like, literally, I'm staring at you right now. I'm staring at you right now. So anyway, I like to not necessarily stare, but I like to look in people's eyes, because I find that it shows I'm very confident. Like, I'm not googly, like, oh, but you also have to give everybody that same type of treatment. It's not like this person you look in their eyes and this person you don't. Unless you're, for some reason, afraid of that person. That's something you need to work on. I don't have a video for that yet. But anyway, yeah, I find that actually looking in people's eyes, making eye contact, that shows a lot of strength, confidence, even if you're pretending. Building that type of thing, building certain habits that that show people you're at least trying to have more respect for yourself and have other people's respect will have literally people start respecting you. Literally. From that moment, you tell that first person that you always tell yes, no, they're going to have a different respect for you. You know what I'm saying? Some people will even like that. You know, that's a whole different thing. But literally, people will be like, oh, you actually said no to me. That's interesting. Okay. You can just move on. And now they know. Like, literally. So, man, this is why I said this has to be 2 videos potentially. Because we're already at like 20 minutes. I respect, confidence, and things like that are very important to me. I'm not saying I go around and I'm like, respect me. But I like to present myself very respectful, not necessarily nice, but polite, stern to a certain extent, depending on what the situation is. I find that is, sticking to your word. This is all over the place. Sticking to your word is really important too. Even in fashion. Like, you know, it's just like earlier today I was telling people about things that I wouldn't wear. So like, let's just say I'm like, I would never wear sparkly half and half pants with alligators, whatever. I'm just saying I wouldn't wear that. But then the following week, I'm just like wearing sparkly half and half alligator pants. You know, it just be like, bro, you just said that you was not going to wear that, and now you wearing that, and now I'm questioning whether I trust your judgment and if I even respect you, because you lied to everybody, first of all, and you still wearing the weird pants, even though those kind of sound hard. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, even in fashion, like me, you know me, you can tell depending on who you are and what time, not necessarily what time, but like depending on how far you know fashion and me and trends and things, that I've been wearing the same things forever and ever. I've never adjusted to like, I'm gonna wear like a kimono, or like when people was wearing like big short, like just like weird stuff that I personally, like, it wasn't really weird. Like it just wasn't for me. I've always been a guy that's like, I'm gonna stick to my classics. I'm gonna stick to nicely engineered garments, things like that. So anyway, I'm gonna that also, like I said, the superficial stuff, but that was just an example. Just like I said earlier, you don't always have to be nice. You don't always have to apologize. That was a thing that I used to do all the time. So, and it wouldn't even have, like, it had nothing to do with me. It, like, literally things, for example, somebody would be walking and they'll trip and hurt their ankle or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not wishing that on none of my friends, but I'm just saying things like that. You might feel inclined to say sorry, but it's not on you. Like, why are you saying sorry that your friend is potentially an idiot and they just fell? Like, that has nothing to do with you. Like, they might say thank you and all that, but sometimes my friends be like, what are you saying sorry for, bro? Like, it's not your fault I left my wallet at the bar. Like, like things like that. You might be like, oh, I could have told you your wallet. Like, bro, no, stop saying sorry. Stop saying sorry for things that you didn't do. Like, it has nothing to do with you. That is a sign. I won't say that's a sign of weakness. That's like an empathetic sign, and also like kind of like it's a sign that you're human and all that stuff, but like it's just also a sign of like you're not to be respected, because like you're always gonna say sorry, especially if you didn't even do anything. Like there's so many people that say sorry for things they didn't do. It's ridiculous. And sometimes, like I said, I say sorry. You don't gotta apologize. You don't gotta say sorry for not wanting to do a favor. You don't gotta say sorry because your homie has an opposing opinion. You can agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? You can literally just be like, nah, I don't agree with that, but I respect you. And that in itself is, one, a good conversation skill. Or it's a good life skill to be able to agree to disagree. And then also, you save a homie like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, sometimes your homie just don't agree with something you say, or you don't agree with something your homies say. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes your homies want to talk about religion. Sometimes your friends want to talk about politics. Sometimes your friends want to talk about things that you just don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? Or like even small things like, yo, bro, get the red shirt. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I don't like red. Why you don't like red? Because I don't like red. Bro, red means powerful color. I don't care, bro. You could like red. I'ma like green. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day I'ma like red. One day you gonna like green. By the way, those are my favorite colors. So don't even worry about me not liking red. Like, I love red. So anyway, active listening. And I'm gonna just list off a couple of other things. Being useful is just like, it's like, bro, like, when you're around, I'm not saying be like a dog, a puppet or anything. Like, you don't need to go around people and be, I don't know why I was looking up like that. I'm not saying be a puppet or anything, but I'm just saying, like, when you pull up to the group, like I said, or if you pull up somewhere, like you pull up to the function, what do you do normally? You bring something. If you can't help, you bring something. So be useful. If you're going to come to the skate park while we're shooting videos while of us skating, be able to hold the camera, or like be able to hold the water bottles or something. We're not asking for everything, but you know, it's the more that you are useful in certain situations, despite it being your friend, the better it is, because they'll want you around. They'll respect you more. Like I said earlier, calling out disrespectful behavior. I'm really big on that. I also like to show gratitude though too, and compliment people. So I like to do a lot of overall things, especially because a lot of people don't expect me to compliment them on things, especially when it comes to, like, I like to talk about fashion on here anyway, because I feel like it's very relatable, and a lot of people that are potentially watching this, from the people that I know, we're potentially all into fashion, at least in a standpoint from where we look good. Anyway, my point is, when I see people with good outfits on Instagram or in person, even though it may appear, and sometimes, I mean, majority of the time, to be honest, it's true, like, I probably have on some really expensive stuff. But just because I have on expensive stuff doesn't mean I can't compliment somebody on their outfit. Or like, yo, those jeans are fire. Like, I like how that fits. I actually try to compliment people all the time, actually. And show gratitude. Showing gratitude is a surefire way to get some respect from others, colleagues, friends, family. You know, you gotta show gratitude, man. You really gotta show people love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that you gotta be on somebody's Johnson. I'm just saying you gotta show love to people. That goes with serving others. I always make sure if somebody comes to my house, are you hungry? Do you want some food? Yo, bro, I'm pulling up to your crib. Should I bring you some food? I just ate, but I'll bring you food. I'll cook. Yo, do you want some water? Do you have something to drink at your crib? Yo, I'll bring whatever. You know, like, I find that to be very important in being respected. It's just like, literally, I'm not saying this for me. I'm just saying, like, a king. A king serves his, like, country, whatever. You know, he serves his people. And if he didn't serve his people, what happens? They don't respect him. They want to overthrow him. They want to get him out of there. So, just like that, respect others, golden rule, and be polite. Really. That's really it. So I'm going to go down the list again, because I know I said a lot in between. This video was like 30 minutes. And it was honestly a lot of technical issues. But like I said, this is Lourde under the scope. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not perfect, and neither is my technology. So it's alright. So we're going to have self-respect. We need to respect ourselves. We're going to set boundaries with others. You don't always have to be nice to others, and you don't need to feel guilty when you're not being nice to others, especially if they're trying to manipulate you. Speak up for yourself, or just speak up in groups. Don't over apologize. Have confident body language. And also, I didn't say this. You need to be aware of your own body language. You know, especially if you just finished talking and it's time for the other person to talk. You can't be all excited to say what you want to say and be all like, I did this and this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. And then when the other person goes to talk, you're just like, oops. Nope. Yeah. So, that's about what we got for today. The Lourde Under the Scope, episode number 7. That's actually a good number to have this video. I'm really hoping that the audio and everything for this, I know it might be a little choppy, the video might be a little choppy, but I'm hoping that you're seeing this, because if you're seeing this, it's good enough to go up despite the video being choppy. So the Lourde Under the Scope, again, that was a topic picked by the team at Crack in the 80s podcast. Make sure you check out Crack in the 80s. I do sometimes go over there and talk. It's a New York based, well, I don't want to say based, but everybody is from New York that is on it. So, check them out. Lord loves you. Lourde Under the Scope, episode 7. Again, sorry about the technical stuff. And I'm not really sorry because I'm sorry to you. I'm sorry to myself because I couldn't figure it out. But I still love y'all. It's one of those things where I'm not going to say sorry for this. Peace. You already know who it is. It's Osiris Lourde, man. I know my video's looking a little funky today, man. But I was having a little bit of issues today with my Wi-Fi. Then by the time I got it done, anyway, I'm here, man. So today we doing the video a little later than usual, you know. It's a lot, and it's a little weird because since my Wi-Fi is down, I can't do it directly on Discord. So I'm recording it in Logic so that when it's recording in Discord, if it drops, it doesn't mess up, blah, blah, blah. You know, all this technology stuff, man. This stuff is too much for me sometimes, man. And it's so simple, but it's so difficult at times. But anyway, you already know who it is. Osiris Lourde. I'm here today, man. And today, I asked my homies over at Crack in the 80s. Crack. I like doing it a little bit 2 times. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2. And what we basically started talking about is... Sorry, I'm looking at this video right now. So I'm trying not to let it mess up my spirits. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the end of the world. But we're going to do it. So anyway. Today, I wanted to talk about... Nah. Loud. Yeah, my camera was looking crazy. I couldn't figure it out. My camera's looking crazy. I couldn't figure it out. It was I plugged the camera in, but it didn't work anyway. Yeah.